Hello and welcome to Tax Matters. Ramadan Kareem to all our Muslim compatriots in Nigeria and indeed all over the world. And happy Democracy Day. Yes, May 29 is Democracy Day in Nigeria. And so we begin with the national broadcast delivered by President Muhammadu Buhari on the occasion of Democracy Day 2017.
The Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, aimed at expanding tax education and awareness, has offered the opportunity for tax defaulters to regularize their status in order to enjoy the amnesty of forgiveness on overdue interest, penalties, and the assurance of non-prosecution or subject to tax investigations.
VAIDS, Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme. You remember that the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme took off on July 1st, 2017 to run for 9 months. But President Muhammadu Buhari, in his magnanimity, extended the period to 1 year. So, as things stand today, the VAIDS will last till June 30, 2018. Amnesty till June 30, 2018. Go out there today and file. You have 30 more days to claim all the benefits. Waiver of interest, waiver of penalty, freedom from tax investigation, freedom from tax audit, opportunity to negotiate instrumental payment up to about 3 years, and no prosecution. And of course, every information that you provide in your filing will be strictly protected. You are assured of strict confidentiality. So, 30 more days to go. Go out there and do it. And in case you fail or you refuse to file under VAIDS by June 30, 2018, then you must be aware now that the taxman knows you, inside and out. There's no more hiding place for the tax dodger. Listen to this.
We have retained the services of one of the world's leading asset tracing firms to investigate and trace assets globally. This is in addition to the exploitation of provisions of existing treaties, conventions, as well as bilateral agreements with multilateral bodies and nations. Nigeria has also signed mutual legal assistance agreements to ensure that there is no hiding place for fugitives.
We do hope that you heard President Buhari very well. Asset tracing is ongoing. There is mutual legal assistance between jurisdictions. Of course, there is automatic exchange of information. So, there is really no hiding place. The taxman knows everybody. So, go out there and file. We move on. Last episode, we yielded the floor to children in commemoration of Children's Day in Nigeria. We spoke to nursery and primary school children, wanting to know from them what they know about taxation and taxes. And we have received positive reactions from you, our viewers, even as we ourselves were presently surprised at the level of knowledge, at the depth of understanding displayed by the children. Today, we want to move up the ladder. We are speaking to their counterparts in secondary schools. The program is Tax Matters.
What do you know about taxes?
Taxes is the money that people pay to the government every month.
Taxes are the money you pay to the government so that the government can use it for development of the country.
Taxes are the money that is paid to the government monthly.
Taxes are those funds that are paid by citizens to the government to develop the country.
Tax is the money we pay to develop the country and make the society a better place.
Taxes are those money that people pay to develop the country.
Who collects this tax on behalf of the government?
Tax force.
The tax collectors.
What does the government use this money, these taxes individuals pay for?
To take care of the country.
They use it in building the roads, building schools, building hospitals to help the country develop better.
They need to build like hospitals, make good roads, make Nigeria a better place.
To build hospitals for the sick. They need to build hospitals, maternity, and schools.
When you grow up, what would you like to be?
I would like to be a pediatrician.
As a pediatrician, would you pay tax?
Yes.
When you grew up, what would you like to be?
A lawyer.
As a lawyer, would you pay tax?
Yes.
If you grew up, what would you like to be?
I would like to become a custom officer.
Would you pay tax as a custom officer?
Yes.
I would like to be a computer engineer.
As a computer engineer, would you pay tax?
Yes.
A footballer.
As a footballer, would you pay tax?
Yes.
Hope rising. The future of Nigeria is assured. There is more.
What do you know about taxes?
I would say tax is our duty as a citizen of a country to pay a particular amount of money, or it could be from the salary which is paid to the government in order to I would say improve our country, Nigeria, and it's done all over the world.
Taxes are what we pay in order to receive something from it.
Taxes are those due every individual of a country must pay.
Who collects this tax and who keeps them?
The government.
What do we pay?
Like our electric bills. We can pay our electric bills. We can pay for water. We pay to the water board.
What does the government do with the taxes we pay?
They improve our country.
Do you know if your mommy and daddy pay tax?
Yes.
How do you know?
They tell me.
Okay. Now, when you grow up, what would you like to be?
I'd like to become a veterinarian.
As a veterinarian, would you pay tax?
Yes.
What are the types of taxes you know?
Actually, precisely, I only know we have water, we have electricity, and that's all.
Who do we pay these dues to?
Tax collectors.
Who uses this money, these amounts we pay?
Government.
What does the government do with the money, the taxes we pay?
They use the taxes to develop our country, to make it a very good one, so that it will be convenient for one to live in.
What are those things the governor or the government have done you've seen?
Like good road, water, and probably NEPA.
Do you know if your mom and dad pay tax?
Yes.
When you grew up, what would you like to be?
A lawyer.
As a lawyer, would you pay tax?
Yes.
Do your mommy and daddy pay tax?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because the electric bills, the water supply, everything that they pay is part of taxes. So,
when you grew up, what would you like to be?
A surgeon.
As a surgeon, would you pay tax?
Yes.
When they were asked what kind of taxes they know, the children in passing referred to electricity bills and water rates. As we pointed out in the first installment last episode, this is a commonly held belief, even among adults and business owners. But in reality, user charges are no taxes. When you pay for refuse disposal, it is because you have refuse to dispose. When you park in a car park, it is because you have a car and you have chosen to park in the car park. Water rates, airport tax, all these are paid in exchange for the provision of one service or the other. Taxes, on the other hand, are levied across the board to everyone according to his or her means. And there's no quid pro quo in taxation. When you pay taxes, you don't expect something in return for you as an individual. Taxes are paid for the good of all. And everyone pays taxes for the benefit of all and sundry.
Every day, my people dey for work, Some they do office work, some get it them own business. So all of them want good road, constant power for better life. Oh, whether now office work, oh yeah, pay your tax. Whether now your own business, oh, pay your tax. If you want a better life, oh, pay your tax. Now your civic responsibility, pay your tax. Better soup, now money cook am. Oh yes. Nothing goes for nothing, my brother. If you want potable water, security and hospital for make life jolly.
That's right. Good roads, good hospitals, portable water, adequate security all come from taxpayers' money. Play your part in making Nigeria great. Everybody, small scale, big companies, entrepreneurs, do the right thing. Pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
From nursery and primary to secondary, from secondary to tertiary level, polytechnics and universities. As part of activities marking the 20th Annual Tax Conference organized by the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, the finals of the CITN organized National Tax Quiz Competition was held on Thursday, the 10th of May, 2018.
This is an opportunity for us to have our young ones display their talents in the knowledge of taxation. We are looking at 5 areas of taxation, and so we've given them the chance to pick any question, starting from personal income tax to companies income tax to oil and gas to value-added tax to voluntary asset and income declaration scheme. They've done the first round. The first round was a CBT test where they were given the same 36 seconds to answer each question, and they had about 10 questions to answer. Following from that, we had a total of 10 schools, out of which these 7 came out successful above the pass mark that was set. So that's why they are here today. So we are taking to the next stage. Today we are having 2 stages. The first stage is to see how many of these 7 will go out. And that's 4 that's going to go out. And then the final stage, the last 3, will show us their stuff. That's what we have in a nutshell.
With that brilliant opening, the sweating began.
The relevant law that deals with taxation of individual is what?
Personal Income Tax Act, CAP P8 LFN 2004.
What is the due date for remitting payee?
10th day of the month following the month when the deduction was made.
The Personal Income Tax Act, as amended, exempts from taxation the official emolument of the President of the Federation and that of state governors. Is this true or false?
False.
Withholding tax is one of the forms of tax. True or false?
False is an advance payment of tax.
Capital allowances are granted in place of what?
Depreciation.
At the end of the first round, 3 finalists emerged: the University of Lagos, the University of Jos, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka in Anambra State. The representatives of the 3 universities slugged it out.
So we go to the final round. Which of the following category of taxpayers are entitled to participate in the various scheme? A, individuals. B, partnership. C, financial institutions. D, corporate organizations. And E, all of the above.
E, all of the above.
The mode of payment and maximum payment period for tax liabilities established from the varied scheme is A, monthly over 2 years. B, agreed installment over 3 years. C, quarterly over 1 year. D, monthly installments over 4 years. And E, annual installment over 6 years.
Agreed installment over 3 years.
Correct.
that brings us to the end of the quiz competition.
Winners of the 2018 annual tax quiz competition were announced and rewarded at the gala night held on Friday, the 11th of May, 2018.
We'll start from the third prize winner. Is in the person of Olukunle Orimijukpa from University of Lagos. For the second prize, we have Omanokwe. And the winner is Chinaza Nwafo of University of Jos.
Welcome once again. You are still on to Tax Matters. We've done all that we have done so far on this episode, and of course in the last one, the interviews with the nursery and primary school children, with the secondary school students, and bringing you the highlights of the National Tax Quiz Competition to show you that the efforts of the tax authorities, especially the Federal Inland Revenue Service, aimed at catching them young, aimed at public enlightenment and tax education, are beginning to yield fruits. And of course, you must also commend this program, Tax Matters. Last episode, we brought you the brilliant presentation of the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service at the meeting of the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations on Friday, the 18th of May. In that first installment, Mr. Fowler spoke about how the resources, the extractive resources of African countries were exploited and sent out to the developed world in crude form, only for finished products to be returned to them, to be sold to them at highly uncompetitive rates. He spoke about how some countries like Argentina and India are beginning to get to trap the taxes that are being lost through e-commerce, through the digital economy. Mr. Fowler also spoke about the efforts of the FRS and indeed Nigeria at increasing tax revenue. On this second installment, Mr. Fowler will be talking about best practices in taxing e-commerce and, of course, IFF, illicit financial flow.
I'm indeed very honored and pleased to be able to exchange some ideas and thoughts on the topic today, taxation and digitalization of the economy and the taxation of ODA-funded projects. We have found out over the period of time that the only way to ensure sustainable economic and social development is through taxation. And I was extremely delighted when the Secretary General said that the UN has taken a position that those involved in the consumption play a very vital role in terms of the cycle for business. To date, when we're looking at where value is added, they actually forget the region where consumption actually takes place. And the unfortunate thing is that most developing countries are more on the end side of the consumption side than the manufacturing side or even the innovation stage. And that all boils down to the story of the economies of scale. If you look at the major items that are being produced and sold, 90% of them are sold in developing economies. They're invented in developed economies, and sometimes, to some degree, they're manufactured in some developing economies, shipped back for final processing, and then sold to the rest of us. And of course, where you don't make any profits, you don't get any taxes. As countries continue to search out appropriate policies to ensure that they're not left out of this game of tax revenue, you'll find out that the developing countries or developed countries treat it a bit differently. If we look at the issue of Apple and Ireland, the other members of the EU found out that Ireland, in giving certain tax benefits had an undue advantage for business, and they insisted that Apple should pay 13 billion euro as tax. Now the question is, who looks after the tax revenue from developing countries or economies? And I'm glad to say that from my short time at the UN, I can see that the UN not only has the interests of developing economies at heart, but also to ensure that there's a fair and free playing ground when it comes to the issue of tax revenue. But another issue of significance, I believe, is the illicit financial flows, which in a large part involves multinational enterprises. I was quite shocked when I did some research because people talk about corruption, especially in the developing economies. But 70% of the illicit financial flows actually relates to base erosion and profit shifting by multinationals, and only 30% relates to corruption. So if we could get the 70% in, I tell you, it will mean a world of difference to most developing economies. Now, that is not saying that we promote corruption. No, we don't. But one thing that I'm glad about are some of the changes happening in the US, even at the very minor levels. A friend of mine told me now in the US, if you wanted to pay cash into someone else's bank account, you couldn't do it. That it has to be the owner of the bank account who will pay cash in, regardless of the amount. So now they're making sure that all financial activities are traceable, which in a lot of developing countries are not, because it's largely cash-based.
It was legendary musician Fela Anikulapo Kuti of blessed memory who sang, "Na this kind talk lead me go prison, yo," or something close to that. Pardon my croaky voice. But you see, it is this kind talk that is attracting accolades and awards to the Federal Inland Revenue Service under the able leadership of Mr. Babatunde Fowler. From the Silverbird TV Awards to Independent Newspaper Award, from ICANN Award to HEDIS. Yes, HEDIS, you heard me right. HEDIS Awards is for the music and entertainment industries. But you see, the support of the FRS and Mr. Fowler to the entertainment and music industries is not going unnoticed. So on Friday, the 5th of May, at the HEDIS Award, the Federal Inland Revenue Service was recognized as a staunch supporter of the music and entertainment industries. And then the Leadership Newspaper of the Year Award was given to the FRS as the Leadership Government Agency of the Year 2017. On Thursday, May 24, 2018, the creme de la creme, the movers and shakers of Nigeria's political and business landscape, led by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, gathered at the International Conference Center in Abuja to witness the Leadership Newspaper 2017 Awards. Theme was towards financially viable state governments. The Honorable Federal Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, was awarded the Leadership Person of the Year 2017. And of course, the Federal Inland Revenue Service emerged as the Leadership Government Agency of the Year 2017. Big congratulations to the Federal Inland Revenue Service, to Mr. Babatunde Fowler for his able leadership, to the entire management and staff of the FIRS, and of course, more importantly, to you taxpayers out there. And of course, a big thank you to our viewers for joining us today on Tax Matters. Let's do it again next week. Same station, same day of the week, same time of the day. Have a blessed week ahead. Ramadan Kareem once again.